Anybody want to ask the panelists any questions? Go ahead.
Well, you were talking about getting the right partner. John and I have read the David Rose book, and we were in the incubator in Launchpad last year and learned a lot, and that phrase comes up, smart money. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, so a doctor or doctor group who want to be an early stage investor in a healthcare company, that make a lot of sense. Okay. On top of that, having someone who specializes in kind of what we're doing, which is raising capital and mentoring, but specifically in the healthcare space, that makes even more sense. Having your local multifamily down the street that just wants to give you a check, they may give you more than what you want and they give you the terms you want, but they may not be the right person that you get to look at. So I really would spend time, I thought about partnering with the people who have an expertise in the area that I want to pursue. So somebody who has an expertise in digital media, that might be the right person to talk to. Somebody might have an expertise in social, which is different. Might be. So I would say, look who you're talking to and make sure that you can get, it should be a give and take, because when that check is written, they know, look, there's two things that are true. One is that you want somebody that can help you, but he wants to know that that check that he writes you has the best probability of not going to zero. Because you can't sell it. There's no exchange, right? So you have to really both be comfortable with who you're working with.
And know that also if someone's writing a large check, you can ask them if you can speak to some of their portfolio companies. You can do that. So keep that in mind. So you can, it's an interview that goes both ways. So anybody else want to add? All right. Nothing.
Long Island's got the best and the brightest and an educated workforce, plenty of capital, but somehow fails to become the next Silicon Valley or hotbed of investing. What do you think we need to do to keep our next generation here and to become a concentrated area where capital becomes successful?
You need an ecosystem. I mean, I think that, coming from New York City, I've seen it go from, I can't overstate the value of an ecosystem. So we're talking about support, like Corey offers and things like that. But in Manhattan, I could go to a meetup every night of the week if I wanted to socialize. And the law firms and the accountants and everybody sponsors these events, and you need that exchange of knowledge and that networking, I think, to foster it. Again, I just happen to be in North Carolina, and so I have a lot of connections down there, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, but the level of sophistication of they may have a great idea and a great product, but the level of business and financial and legal sophistication that I see is much less, and it's because they don't have that dynamic involvement in that, I asked you about being an LLC, which you should change that on your website. We're talking to a company now, they're an LLC. VCs either can't or definitely won't, for a variety of tax reasons and legal reasons, invest in, an LLC. And we really like the company, and we're telling them, you've got to switch over to a C Corp. You just have to do it. We're not investing until you do. So, I mean, you have to somehow develop that critical mass and that underlying ecosystem and support environment that fosters that kind of information exchange. And, it's a pretty simple answer of how to do that. I don't really know.
If I could just ask, I couldn't agree with that more, but let me narrow it down to North Carolina.
Sure.
Because recently, even though we're up here, and I chair the board of the Entrepreneurial Leadership Center at Tufts University, and it's all startups and it's all venture. And what I'm trying to do there is Boston, which, as you know, is a great ecosystem for all of us. One of the places that we were, as we're doing some fundraising now for our next fund, is Asheville, North Carolina. And Asheville was recently in one of the tech magazines as the #2 place for startups. Well, who would have thought? Well, it's breweries and microbreweries, and we've all been down there to see the Biltmore, things like that. But the reason is because an incredible amount of people are leaving Long Island, for instance, and going to retire in Asheville. So now the Asheville Angels has formed, Venture Asheville has formed like LICA, very similar. The difference is, as the money flees here, and that big money wants to do angel investing, which really helps lubricate the ecosystem. It's all about finance at the end of the day. It's going to these places. So I would say that you do have great education here, proximity to New York. Everything is here. Why doesn't it happen more? And maybe that means keep what you have in the core here, and reach out beyond, and form those partnerships where the guy who is here in Long Island, don't let him leave and not come back to a business community just when he has the checkbook, wants to stay active, semi-retired. He's down in Asheville now, put his money down. So keep that liaison to lubricate the ecosystem.